All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? So if you know anything about me, I have a Mastering Self-Confidence program out. It helps men find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. And I teach a lot of things regarding dating on that, or in that program. So what I want to call this podcast, though, is when did men become pussies when it comes to dating? Is that how I should list it? Well, it'll be something similar to that. But I don't know what happened. I see a lot of younger people, even middle-aged now, that make things so complicated when it comes to meeting other women, which it should be easier than ever, but they make things more complicated than ever, which I have no idea why. And I haven't been in the dating game for a while myself, so I'm not going to sit here and all of a sudden preach what I know what's going on now regarding that to a certain degree. But I know a lot of people that are still single, younger people, cousins, friends, everybody, and I'm kind of still, I think, in the loop regarding that. So there's still apps out there we all know of, and there's still people online dating, so none of that's really changed. So it hasn't been like 10, 15 years ago, everybody was afraid to go online and date because they were afraid, oh my God, this person's going to know about me, I don't know them, and all that bullshit. And then as time went on, apps, Tinder, and all that shit came out as well. So I think it's basically, for the most part, the same. But now I'm seeing just like the way I think people behave regarding wanting to meet each other, or even after they start dating, I see a lot of guys just acting like pussies, to be honest with you. And I don't know if I know what I think it is. I think it's over-communicating. I think we have all these different outlets of communicating which have flooded, our lives. So before, in the past, I'll just go back 20 years ago, let's just say you wanted to meet somebody, you most likely went out to meet them. It could be a bar, nightclub, or local restaurant, or you met people at work, or people introduced you, either through friends or family members. Let's call it a day, right? And then once you met them, you had to learn how to talk to them, right? You had to learn how to socialize with one another. You usually called somebody on the phone. You probably got their parent. You went out or asked them if you could take their daughter out, or you got them on the phone and you went out, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. You get it. So then obviously cell phones came out. Things changed because now we had a personal connection to the girl or guy, right? So now you can just call them directly, let's say, for instance, because that was before texting. And then texting and social media came along. And then emailing as well, I should say. So you have all these ways now of communicating with people, playing games, sending emojis, sending, different ways on how to kind of manipulate somebody. You could be sending, I don't care, you could be sending pictures of yourself. You could be sending funny, different things, photos, videos, memes, whatever the case may be. So we're communicating that way as well. Let's call it for what it is. So you have all these other things, ways of communicating now. Facebook Messenger, Instagram, whatever, Snapchat, everything. You have all these different ways of communicating, and you're also being judged by everything you're doing, though, now publicly, right? Even if you're in a relationship or you're married or whatever, you're being judged constantly no matter what. And most people that are on social media are judging you too, right? Every time you almost send out a text, let's call it for what it is, or an email, you're being critiqued. Just a heads up. So don't think you're not, just like you, most likely, if you're getting if you're single, say for instance, and someone said something to you. Now, if you fooled around or not, you're judging that like, are they interested in me? Are they perverts? Is it sexy? Whatever the case may be, all this type of shit can be, I think, good and bad because it's confusing. And I talk about that even with texting, negative texts or negative emails or messaging each other, negativity shit, because years ago, back to that, if you had a problem with someone, you had to write a letter if you wanted, or you talked to them, either on the phone or personally. You didn't have a way to hide, like a pussy again, behind a text, or hide behind something you're sending on Messenger, or hide behind an email, right? Everyone's tough. I always talk about that when they're hiding. But if you know anything about me, if you send me a negative text, now that doesn't mean you can't send me a text that's balls to the wall and direct, which I kind of like. But if you send me a text, or if you're the type of person who always wants to argue on text or email and shit, I'm going to delete you. I'm going to force you to call me or have to see me face to face. Most likely I'm going to tell you to see me face to face. But what I'm seeing with a lot of younger people is the face-to-face is the last thing they ever want. They want everything to be solved, every issue or everything before face-to-face. So face-to-face is all fun times, I think, is what's happening. So if they have a dispute with somebody, it seems like they need to text it out. From what I hear and what I see, text it out, and hopefully everything smooths out. And then I see you, and then we go have a nice dinner, or we go to the movie, we have a blast. They a lot of times don't want to figure things out face to face. Now, if you live with somebody, that's different. Like I said, I was just talking about dating, and a lot of times too, I think when you're texting each other, messaging each other, that's where this ghosting comes in, because people may say something again on a text or an email or whatever that hurts you, harsh, like very bad, where you don't want to have anything to do with this person. But again, you don't know the content. I'm not saying it was jokingly, but sometimes words being text, I think, or email, and the mood you're in, the way you're interpreting it, can be a backbreaker. And it's not fair sometimes. Because if you've ever, and I think we've all sent texts that we regret, or emails, or we've been in arguments, even personally, that we've regretted. But a lot of times when you talk to somebody, you see from a one-to-one basis really where they're at. You see emotionally. When sometimes you read a text, you may even think they're screaming at you when they're not. They're actually crying, I'm just saying, or they're hurt. But when you read the text, you're like, oh my God, they're such an asshole. But if you would have spoke to this person, you would have realized, oh my God, this is coming from the heart. It's just a whole different thing. And that's the other thing I was going to say. A lot of guys, I think, now are afraid to express how they feel. And I even go through that. It's easier to send stuff through a text or somewhere else to say I love you and with a heart or a puppy, whatever the fuck we're doing. Emojis. It's easier to do it that way a lot of times than personally. I get it. But if you can't really show your emotions, or you're only one-sided where, like I said, you can only argue through text and then have, and then when you're with the person, be happy. Or the flip side is, a lot of guys I know, they're almost lovey-dovey on the text I hear about, friendly, and then in person they're assholes and arrogant jagoffs. So it's kind of like it goes both ways. I'm just here to tell you, get a goddamn balance. But you've got to learn first, especially younger people, learn how to talk to women and learn how to listen again. Okay? Not always be obsessed with your phone or communicating through your phone. Because the way, what I've seen over the years is, it's hard a lot of times to be, if you're if you have these people that are obsessed with their phones, which it's getting more and more and more. And I see this even with my kids, my girlfriend's kids, where everything is being judged first through a phone, especially at the beginning phases of dating or being interested in somebody. So it's almost like there's a middleman there. Like, oh, she texted me this and I text her that, or she did this and I did that, but then I was on Facebook or Instagram, I saw them do this, so what is that? Then I saw them go here and do that. Like, it's all this shit when you really don't even know this person. Start off again knowing the person. But I think with phones, I think we're scared I think more than ever, not me, other people are afraid to get hurt. They're not used to, one, being told off, or being told the way it is, or being told or just expressing how they feel, or just building a bond or starting a relationship from scratch personally without going through a device, is what I'm really trying to say. So I'm not going to get super long-winded on this podcast, but if you want to know more about this shit, it's in my program. I have there's a lot of videos I do as well on my YouTube page regarding this as well. I kind of give pointers on dating and all this different stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm Don Juan or some guru, but I do have a way I think being raised in the bar nightclub business my entire life, and just being on the streets, I guess you could say, and being around massive amounts of people from all over North America, I got a good read on people that I don't think a lot of people ever got. And growing up very quickly, I kind of was able to learn a lot of bullshit very young, especially when it comes to dating, fooling around, all these different things. I don't think my mom wanted me to be in that lifestyle, but my father owned a club, restaurant, and also I think my mother, me even being around, my mother was very religious, being around a lot of religious people too, and I'd hate to say that, the phoning aspect of that, the way they act, through in relationships, and people don't want to call them out with their behavior. So, it's kind of, I used to say what's interesting is I saw a lot more truth in bars and nightclubs and people drinking and doing drugs than I did with being around people who are religious. Because I think a lot of times when you're around people that drink, party, they are who they are. They're exposing you for what they like to do, and they're not coming up with excuses for like just enjoying it. They just do it because they like to do it, right? And that would also include, like, I was around people, not only that did drugs, you're around gay people, bisexuals, lesbians. They're truthful, I think, a lot of times more than, say, religion, people that are religious, because I think a lot of people in religion hide behind the religion. Now, I'm not here to dig on everybody that's religious. That's not what I'm saying. I love people that are religious. But what I am saying is, being around a lot of people that were religious, I seen their behavior, and it didn't always match up. And I think we all can understand that. And I'm not saying that if you're religious that you're not going to sin or break the rules and things. But what I'm really talking about is just, the do-getters that are always kind of looking down or telling you that that's the wrong way to live or that's all sinful. And they either like it, they do it, or they always just want to kind of be on a high horse, which I think is ridiculous. But I jump in these little tangents. But again, with dating and stuff, if you want to know more shit, my Mastering Self-Confidence program can help you. You can just go to masteringselfconfidence.com or richcelenza.com, because I love to help people as much as I can. I don't think I'm as outdated as a lot of people that are middle-aged, because I hang out with a lot of younger people, and I'm still, I think, a lot more open-minded. But I just see, especially people that work with me, that I travel with, young guys, girls, and they're always, because they know I have this program, they're always like, Rich, and even a lot of women, I think more ladies, even middle, ask me, what's the problem with men, more than guys saying what's wrong with women. But it's kind of funny, and I say to women as well, just like I tell men, the problem a lot of times is your behavior is it's what you tolerate when you want to meet people too. You can't just go on dating websites. You can't just play the texting game. Or if you go on Tinder and you fooled around with somebody and you got used, or if you're getting ghosted after having sex, or whatever, that's you usually. You have to set your own standards on how you want to meet people and what you want to do on dates. I don't care if you're on 3 dates. You don't have to have sex with somebody. That's kind of common sense. But I think a lot of people fall for stupid things, or they feel like they're getting used, or they have sex too fast. Not just women, men too. But I do think a lot of women, they like to talk, and they want more, from what I see, more of a relationship where it's one-on-one at the beginning. They go on dates, which is wonderful. All those type of things where I think guys a lot of times are happy kind of being in the distance and more or less texting at the beginning. Of course, men a lot of times want to have sex a lot quicker than women. Not always, but sometimes. Men are kind of okay going through the phones or through Messenger or all those things, where I think women first want to know, get more of a feel of the person. They want to sit down, talk to them. Men, for the most part, I'm not saying they don't like to talk or listen. I don't think they long for that. So you got to realize and I speak for myself as well. So I think you have two different components, but again, you both have to meet in the middle. But regardless when it comes to meeting people, each person, you got to realize, is so different than the next. You can't all say all women are this way and all men are this way. All millennials are this way. All middle-aged men are this way. All divorcees are this way. That's ridiculous. The quicker you get that shit out of your head, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so I'll wrap it up there. Like I said, you can check out my YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter as well. Please leave a comment. And guys out there, this was mainly for guys, just stop being a pussy. If you're interested in someone, go talk to them. You know what I mean? And it really blows me away, because I don't see any men being able to talk to a woman randomly, which I'm not saying to jump women, like say if I'm with a bunch of young guys or even my cousins or anybody, they won't ask a girl out, which I get. They'll ask for to connect on Facebook. It could even be Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere, Twitter, whatever the case may be. They first kind of want to connect there and then feel things out. I think and I get it, it's more of a research type thing. They want to see what this person's done in their past. Let's face it, everybody else is stalking each other. But if you just kind of go to the basics, people are people. and people like to enjoy being with other people. So if you need, like, it's almost like our phone became a third wheel in our lives, especially at the beginning. Maybe exclude that for a while. And if you see someone you like, ask them out. If they reject you, you most likely saved a lot of time and effort. Because sometimes I don't think a lot of guys realize, like, oh, I'm going to follow her on Insta, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this and this. And you know what? She never liked you in the first place. And oh, I'm going to weed my way in and try to... Listen, dude, you might want to just say, hey, you want to go out one time? You want to go do this? Want to meet me for coffee? You want, and she'll be like, oh, yeah. Maybe she'll be like, no, good, move on. But I think a lot of guys torture themselves too. I don't even want to get into that, but a lot of guys connect with people on social media and all these things that they don't have anything in common with, or whatever the case may be. And the woman, and it could be the guy too, and this goes for women too, trying to connect and go through all these hoops and trying to manipulate your way into their life or figure them out when they're not interested in you, or they may even be with somebody else. So just when sometimes you meet someone you like, talk to them and just have a relationship with them verbally, not always through your phone, is what I should say. All right. And talk on the goddamn phones, right? All right, I'll wrap it up there. Take care. And if you're traveling, safe travels.